When we do a video review, what you don't see is that we spend a lot of time cleaning the car, inside and out, to make it as spotless as we can, to make it look good on camera. I think you'll forgive us if we don't do that today. What we've got here is the Ford Ranger Raptor. A truck, not a car. It is, however, very interesting. Doesn't matter if it was launched a year ago, a year and a half ago. We thought it was worth properly testing on Irish roads and Irish mud, more to the point. The last time we took it off-road was on the Moroccan sand dunes, which is not quite what you'd find in Irish weather now, is it? It's worth taking a quick look at the Raptor again, even if you've probably seen the review on CompleteCar.ie already. It's all about the image really, isn't it? Other than its off-road ability. So up front, you've got this big grille. Big Ford. You can't miss it, it says Ford on it. And that's what grabs the attention. Everybody looks at it, even in this primer grey. These tyres are serious off-road tyres and they hint at what's to come actually. You've got arches, because you've got a wider track than the regular Ranger actually, and this looks way chunkier than the regular Ranger. Got these solid door steps here, door sills. Got Raptor branding on them, got Raptor branding all over the truck actually. And back here, got this little spoiler thing on the back of the roof and a cover for the bed in the back. It's worth mentioning what's underneath, what you can't see actually. So they're proper, thick bash plates, front and rear. Underneath here is suspension by Fox. Now, if you know anything about off-road racing in the States in particular, or that part of the world, Fox is king. And that suspension has been designed to withstand that. Put simply, it's made for jumping and landing. I'm not sure we'll get away with doing that with Ford Iron's press car today, but we'll have a bit of fun anyway. Parts over here so you can see the articulation actually. And this probably isn't as extreme as it gets. Kind of shows what it's capable of, hopefully. Also should mention, under the bonnet of this is a twin turbo 2-litre diesel engine. So it perhaps hasn't got the high performance that the looks might suggest. It's got 213 horsepower, but it's got 500 newton meters of torque, which is key to this car. But it's quite heavy. It's very heavy in fact. So don't expect it to be like a supercar on the road. So now we're going to try a bit of a steep slope, which should be fun. Probably better off putting into 4 low for this. It's quite steep. It looks like it could be tricky to get over the top. Only one way to find out. So you need to press it into low. It says go into neutral. 4x4 shift in progress, and we're in 4 low. So it's automatically turned off the electronic traction control. This isn't super slippery, so I'm not going to go for the lock differential. But let's see how we get on. Nice and slow to begin with, I feel. Oh my god, that was ridiculously easy. We're now going to go down a steep slope. I have room to maneuver to get around to it. So visibility, not too good right this second. Just go back a little. 3-wheeling at the moment, so I must have got my angle of approach a little bit wrong there. In these situations, it's always good to have a spotter. And it feels more extreme than it probably looks, to be fair. This will show off the articulation nicely though. And it's got rather impressive approach and departure angles. In case you want to keep those bash plates nice and shiny. Back on the road, the Ranger Raptor might surprise you. It's not as rough and uncouth as you might expect. Around town it's not great, to be fair. The knobbly off-road tyres, and you know, it's huge, and the rough engine, not great around town, but hey, it's huge. Don't bring this car into town. Don't be antisocial. Out in the open road it's actually very good. The Fox dampers that I mentioned earlier are really good at soaking up the road. You know, in fact, it seems the faster you go, the better they are, which isn't probably something you can say to Garda Síochána, but it is a fact. And you know, it deals with everything. It just feels invincible in some ways. And bizarrely, those off-road tyres are quiet. They don't make any noise, even at motorway speeds. And in fact, there's no wind noise either. Now, a little bit of investigation shows that These windows have double glazing, which is kind of a neat little trick, and that blocks out some of that noise. The engine itself can be a bit loud, especially around low speeds, especially when you're going up hills and things like that. But at a cruise, it's perfectly okay. It's fine. Bear in mind, this truck rather never feels fast ever. It's got 213 horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque, which is fine. It all happens really low down the rev range, so it's more about pulling and lugging, and it gets up to speed and it maintains speed fine, the speed that you need to go. But don't expect it to feel as fast as actually it looks. I guess it'll maintain those speeds on the type of terrain that most cars just won't even be able to tackle at all. A few highlights though. The interior, while dated, has some nice touches. Got these lovely Raptor seats here, actually sports seats in their front and rear as well. But yet in the back there's just as much space as ever, so you can carry 5 in this. The steering wheel itself is a bit big and clunky, but it's got a 12 o'clock marker at the top. That's like the Ford Motorsport, Ford Performance brand effect there. Behind it, ludicrously, are the biggest, chunkiest gear change paddles this side of a Ferrari. They're so solid, they're unbelievable, they're fantastic, they're lovely. You probably won't use it very much. It's got a 10-speed automatic in here, standard. It already changes gears way more than you need to. If you can't find the right gear in those 10, you're in a bit of trouble. There is a manual mode, but as I say, you'd rarely need it. Maybe going off road every now and then. Now, in the dry, Ford Performance has actually done a really good job of this, and it feels fun to drive, especially in sweeping roads. It's quite good at that. Steering's got some communication through it. It's not bad at all. It's got a fair few turns lock to lock, but that's to be expected. But it's quite biddable. It's quite enjoyable actually. When it turns wet, it's a bit different. Those off-road tires don't have great grip and wet tarmac, so coming out of junctions, you'll embarrassingly spin a wheel very easily, or you'll find running out of ideas in tighter corners. So you got to watch that. Realistically, I think if you lived in the countryside, those knobby tires might annoy you a bit, depending how bad the road surfaces are, depending how fast or slow you're driving, depending how much you need it off-road actually, because those off-road tires are kind of key to its ability off-road. On the motorway, it's absolutely fine. So if you're going up and down the motorway every, quite a bit, and then at the end of it, you're towing a trailer over a farm, brilliant, perfect. But if you don't need it, if you don't need that off-road ability, and you're just ambling around, it'll probably annoy you, which is a shame. So basically, don't buy it just because you love the looks. So that's our brief bit of fun in the Ranger Raptor. It's a serious truck. I mean, there's some deep mud here, bit of an incline, very, very slippery. Doesn't feel like I tested it. Okay, I might have a bit of a fear in the back of my mind I'm going to break it or not get stranded out here in the depths of Wicklow. But even so, it was just effortless. Went up the steep slopes, went through the seriously deep, muddy, yuck, disgusting water. Going down the very steep slope was a bit of a challenge. You couldn't see where you were going, but if you're doing serious off-roading, you should have a spotter with you anyway. You should view the situation before you go anywhere. But it's just epic. It's amazing. As a work vehicle, it's absolutely brilliant. Sure. You might buy it because of the image. You might never ever intend to do any work with it. It tows less than the best of the Rangers, carries less than the bed. It's a lot more expensive. So, this Ranger Raptor was about €64,000 at the moment in Ireland, which is about 50% more than the Wildtrak Ranger, which is a very good truck. It's a good working truck. It's a bit stylish. Doesn't look like this though, does it? No. It's a very special truck, one to remember, and, one to buy because you love the look of it. It's not perfect, but hey, what is?